So a lot of the time when installers are looking for more jobs, their first thought is always new. So where can I get more leads from? What new agency can I work with? They're always looking at additional methods of leads to add to what they've already got. Very rarely do they look at their current processes and see how far they can improve those or scale those. And this is very often the simplest or cheapest way to start generating more leads for your business. So in this video, we're going to look at more specifically how you can effectively follow up on leads. So if you are buying them in, running an advertising campaign, whatever it is, you can use kind of tips in this video to start booking more surveys and installs from your current lead flow without spending any more money on your lead generation efforts. So everything I'm about to run through is implemented by our own telesales team. So all of these tips and all of these points I'm going to run through, we've tried and tested. So hopefully you take some value from them. So point number one is to call leads within 5 minutes of them coming through. It sounds really simple, but a lot of installers will leave it hours or even worse days before they actually follow up on an inquiry. But studies show that leads are 8 times more contactable if you call them within 5 minutes. So this really should be your number one priority. If you're currently generating leads through Google, Instagram, Facebook, whatever it is, and you're not calling them quickly, then this is the number one thing you should start implementing. If you do wait hours or even days, then you are losing valuable opportunities and you're losing thousands of pounds each month. So to put this into context, an example scenario below. Let's say you get 50 leads per month through adverts, website, whatever it is. You currently call leads around 4 hours after they come through and you have a 20% booking rate. So 1 out of 5 of your leads actually go through to a sales visit. Let's say you then convert 1 out of 3, which is obviously quite a high conversion rate for most people. So out of 50 leads, you're getting 3 to 4 actual sales from that. If you were to call all of these leads within 5 minutes of coming through, we can probably quite easily say that your booking rate will double to 40%. So rather than 10 appointments, which you were getting, you're now going to be getting 20 appointments. And if you are still converting at the same rate, that's 6 to 8 sales rather than 3 to 4 sales. If your average order value is £10,000, that is £30,000 to £40,000 every single month you're missing out on in new revenue. Over a year, that is 350 to even 500,000 revenue. And that's not taking into account indirect revenue, so any referrals, testimonials, things like that from these missed opportunities that will lead to more business in the future as well. And all of this is lost purely because of how quickly you pick up the phone and call leads. So, as I mentioned, if you aren't doing this, calling your leads faster is one of the simplest but highest leverage activities that you can focus on in your sales process. So, again, just to give you some examples, if you do take a day or even worse, longer to actually call your leads up, there are dozens of things that can affect how likely that lead is to convert. So they might have gone off the idea, they might have read some news article that put them off, they might have forgot what number you're going to be calling from, so they now don't pick up. They might have inquired with a competitor who's already booked them in. They might have forgot what advert they signed up completely. There is almost an endless list of reasons why they might not convert if you leave it too long. On the flip side, if you do call them straight away, the idea of getting solar or getting a heat pump is completely fresh in their mind. They're going to remember exactly who you are and where you're calling from. They're actively within a buying mood, so they're on Facebook, Instagram, clicking on things and sort of ready to book a survey or buy something. They likely remember the advert and offer that they saw. So if you do have a high quality advert, which you should, they remember that, it's top of mind. They're more likely to pick up. They likely haven't inquired with multiple competitors. You get the idea. If you do call within 5 minutes, there are, again, dozens and dozens of positive reasons why they are now more likely to turn into a customer. So if you aren't calling your leads within 5 minutes, do everything you can to start doing that. So set up notifications. If you have to hire someone to do this, just do whatever you need to ensure that pretty much every single lead that's coming through is called straight away, obviously within reason, not overnight or on Sundays, for example. Second thing to kind of focus on is the persistence. So how often you're calling the leads. We'd recommend calling them at least twice a day for the first week that they've come through. So if your only attempt to reach a lead is during standard working hours, then you're going to be missing out on a lot of money. A lot of people are busy during the day, they're at work, they've got kids. It makes it hard for them to answer calls. But if you call leads twice a day, including evenings or weekends, you'll be surprised at how much your contact rate will improve. And actually, if you do get someone on the phone, say 7 o'clock in the evening or a Saturday afternoon, how actually eager they are to talk because they're likely got a bit of free time compared to during the week. And again, quite simply put, the more times you try calling someone, the more likely they are to pick up. So if you are at the moment, calling them 3 or 4 times or even less, and then sort of disqualifying them, try calling them twice a day for a week and just see how your results compare. And at the end of the day, a lot of people, installers that is, they think that they're bothering people by calling them. They don't want to be pushy, they don't want to be salesy. But these people have actually signed up to be contacted by you, so don't think you're disturbing them or harassing them by trying to call them a couple of times a day. A lot of the time they have a genuine problem that you can solve. So whether they've got high energy bills, a cold home, their boiler's broken, whatever it might be, you can probably help. And quite a worrying stat is that 81% of businesses make 5 or fewer attempts to contact leads. But if we look at this graph here, which is from the same study that I referred to earlier, you can see just the amount of actual conversions that come later down the sales process. So similar examples before, you can lose out on leads because they go with a cheaper company or a company's better at sales than you, but you don't want to be losing out on leads because you didn't try hard enough. So there could be dozens and dozens of reasons why people don't pick up your first couple of calls. It can be they've got a busy work schedule, they're on holiday, they've got a personal issue, phone wasn't on them, whatever it might be. If you try 3 or 4 times, that could have been a perfectly interested lead that you're now letting go because you think you're bothering them. So what I've run through here in terms of speed and persistence, this is something that we cover in quite a lot of detail in our program. So we've got a module that completely covers the telesales process for installers using all the tips and tricks that our call centre use. So probably the most important one in this module is our follow-up process. So this runs through a lot of what we just covered just in more detail, like how to maximise your speed to lead, how often you should call leads, how quickly you should call leads, how to improve contact rates. That's all covered in our program here, which I will link down below as well. Point number 3, again, is one that a lot of installers neglect, is having a proper lead nurturing process in place. So a lot of installers will try and get that sale when that lead first comes through. If they don't, they're then just forgotten about and never followed up on. But it is essential, particularly for your long-term growth, that you have a proper nurturing process in place. So if someone doesn't convert, initially you need to have touch points, text, email, WhatsApp, let them know you've been in touch and try and get hold of them. You can very easily automate most of this, so there really are kind of no excuses to be neglecting your follow-ups. Once you have that set up, any lead that comes into your CRM should be getting a automated text and then automated follow-ups from then on, depending on whether they pick up the phone or not. And if a lead hasn't responded within the first couple of weeks, they should then be going into a long-term nurture sequence. So that should be value driven with things like case studies, testimonials, relative content, all the sort of stuff that's going to keep you top of mind. And if 6 months down the line they decide now's the right time to buy solar, they're going to remember your company and they're likely going to make the inquiry with you. So again, this is something that you can automate. This is something that we set up for all of our clients, is long-term nurture sequences. So we've got one for fresh leads that don't answer. Then we've got more kind of nurture sequences depending on why they were disqualified, whether it's a price issue or if they haven't picked up the phone at all, they go into a more long-term nurture sequence as well. Fourth way that you can start converting more leads into actual surveys and customers is being clearer in your communication and having clear next steps. So from the moment a lead sees your advert and makes an inquiry all the way through to the sale when you're actually installing the solar system, heat pump, whatever it is, they should know exactly what is happening next and when it's going to happen. So for example, when someone fills out an inquiry form, they should be getting a text letting them know when to expect a call and what the number that call is going to come from as well. Once you have them on the phone, there should really only be 3 outcomes. So either the lead is disqualified if they aren't a good fit for whatever reason. If they say they're busy or they can't talk right now, you schedule a follow-up at a specific time and that's booked in. Or third, you book them in for a site visit, remote quote, whatever it might be, whilst you have them on the phone there. Having these next steps, it makes it clear for your prospects what the next steps are, and it means that the whole sales process is smooth. So for example, if you get a customer on the phone and they say, can you call me back, and you don't agree a time, you're sort of in no man's land there. You're now calling them up again and it's almost like they're a fresh lead that's come through. Once you've completed a survey, whatever that looks like for you, again, you need to ensure your communication stays as good after the survey as it had been prior. So let them know what to expect and when to expect it. People often are paying thousands, if not tens of thousands of pounds, and letting you into their house to do this work. So if you don't let them know when to expect a quote or what the next steps are very clearly after a survey, all that's going to do is lower their trust and reduce the likelihood of them closing into a customer. So 3 quick things you can do once you've actually surveyed and quoted them. So let them know clear next steps and timeframes. So you can expect your quote on this date and I'll give you a call 2 days later, for example, to discuss it with you. Let them know exactly what happens next, so documents, payment options, things like that. And ideally you want to book in a call to actually run through that quote with them. So rather than emailing over and just hoping for the best, book in a time to actually sit down with the customer, whether that's on the phone or in person, run through the quote and make sure you answer any questions they've got there. Secondly, after the survey, everything you want to do it as quickly as possible. So if you're taking weeks to quote a customer or weeks to follow up, it's going to kill the deal for you. So really, as soon as you survey the property and got that quote ready, you want to be on top of the customer, sending it across, making sure they've read it, because that sort of speed after you've been around for the survey is going to really aid you in closing the customer. Third, after the survey, is personalising your follow-up. So you don't want to send salesy follow-up messages like just checking in or just following up. You really want to tailor it to that customer, make sure all your follow-ups are personalised and full of value. So that can be things like case studies, any sort of information that might be relevant to them. Again, if you really put the effort into actually following up that customer and making sure that they feel that you understand their problems, it's going to go a long way to them trusting you to take their money and install whatever it might be, solar, heat pump, even if it's eco and it's completely free, and they're still going to trust you to come into their home and do that work for them. So they're sort of the core 4 things, in our opinion, that most installers are lacking that you can start doing to increase your conversion rates. Last few bonus tips. So first one, double dialing. So essentially, if a lead doesn't pick up your first phone call, you can call them again straight away. A double dial essentially increases your chances of them picking up. If they have do not disturb enabled, a lot of the time it actually breaks this, so it'll start ringing or vibrating. And also, if someone calls you twice straight away, you're a lot more likely to pick up the call because you think it's actually meant for you. Second thing you can try if you use an office number a lot is using a mobile. So calls from an office number, a lot of the time people think that they are spam calls, so they get ignored and sent to voicemail. So if you are struggling to reach people using your office number and your landline number, try using a mobile instead. And then thirdly as well is personalising your approach. So I touched upon earlier how with the follow-ups you can automate things, but still a personal voicemail, personal voice note on WhatsApp, anything like that goes a long way into building trust with the lead and getting a response. So just to summarise, before you do go ahead and spend any more money on your advertising or add another lead source in, first just sit down and analyse whether or not you can actually optimise what you're currently doing to get the results you need. So easiest way is what we've run through in this video. Ensure you are not leaking sales and letting leads go to waste with a sloppy follow-up process. So if you have enjoyed this video and it has been helpful, there are more videos like this on our YouTube channel, and anything that I've referred to, such as our CRM or our program, I'll link it down in the description as well in case you want to take a closer look at that.